Open water rescue training will focus on 4 basic concepts. Number 1. Reach victims are located close to the shoreline and the rescuers can retrieve them by reaching with their persons, rescue pole or hook, and or a backboard, etc. without having to enter the water. Victims must be conscious, alert, and able to grab and hold onto the reaching device for this method to be considered. Number 2. Throw victims are too far away from the shoreline to be reached with a rigid object. Rescuers can throw ropes, rope bags, flotation rings or discs tied to a rope, floating objects tied to a rope, etc. to retrieve the victim without having to enter the water. Victims must be conscious, alert, and able to grab and hold onto the thrown object for this method to be considered. Number 3. Row. Victims are too far away from the shoreline to be reached or to have a flotation device thrown to them. Rescuers must use a boat or approved watercraft to access and retrieve the victims without having to enter the water. Once close enough to the victims, rescuers can reach, throw, or lift them directly into the boat, whichever method is easiest and safest. Victims may be conscious and alert or unconscious. Number 4. Geo. Rescuers must physically enter the water and swim to the victims to retrieve them. His method may be used from the shoreline or from a boat depending on the circumstances. His method is typically used for unconscious victims but may also be used for conscious and alert victims that are in distress or unable to grab and hold onto a flotation device. Only those rescuers, who are strong swimmers, should enter the water to retrieve a victim.
Key items to remember for any water rescue. Communication. Rescuers on and offshore should be in constant communication with each other as well as the victims. Those rescuers not directly retrieving the victims need to be the eyes and ears or spotters for those rescuers that are retrieving the victims. Personal safety is paramount. We are trying to rescue the victims already in the water, not create new ones. All rescuers in or near the water must be wearing personal flotation devices, PFDs. All rescuers on shore should also be wearing PFDs when possible. A rescuer should never remove his or her PFD and place it on a victim. Whenever possible, rescuers should tie themselves off to a stationary object on shore to prevent being pulled into the water, that is, trees, rocks, pylons, buildings, apparatus, etc. Keep it simple. Rescuers should try to avoid entering the water whenever possible. Don't throw, row, or go if a victim can easily be reached from the shoreline. Be aware of your surroundings. During any incident, rescuers need to be alert and aware of the hazards around them. Be sure to consider the weather, hazards on the shoreline, hazards in the water, currents, other watercraft, etc. when planning any type of open water rescue.